Well, hello, Paradigm Shifters. Welcome back. Yes, we are Paradigm Shift 2.0. Do you believe that?
Mhm.
2.0. We've made it around 1 year, and now we're in deeper, deeper dives in shifting and uplifting,
Mm.
dedicated to the shifting and uplifting of each other and the planet. How's that for you? And I am so grateful. I can't tell you how fun, grateful I am to introduce everybody to my buddy, Beth Beurkens. And I first met Beth. I think I was trying to think of like a memory of you and I many, many years ago. And my memory is of getting ready for a party.
Yes, you were putting makeup on me.
You said,
I,
help me with this eye thing. I don't
yes.
do this eye thing. And I'm like, well, and like putting these things and having so much fun, just so much fun.
Yep.
Because Beth Beurkens is, I'm just going to say, not one of the best, most authentic compadre that I've
Mm.
had the privilege of meet in my years. So let me tell you a little bit about Beth, and I'm going to turn it over to Beth Beurkens from Pacific Grove, California. Oh, yeah. And Sky Bear. Oh, yeah. Beth is a shamanic teacher and vision quest guide. And she's going to tell us how the story of Courage to Change, a Courage to Change story, and how she's come to create her own work in the world, getting more and more what she's called to do. So Beth, I'm gonna turn this whole thing over to you, and I'm so grateful to hear your story. I think I know your story, but man, there's been so much story in the last
Yes.
couple years. So here you go, Beth. Come on in.
Well, first, let me just say thank you to you, Judy Matejczyk, for your. I kind of choked up thinking about this. Your awesome commitment to the healing of people, to seeing paradigms, shifting paradigms, replacing paradigms, and your passionate purposefulness in building paradigm shifters. I've been with you since the very beginning when you started, observing you, applauding you, and you're doing such significant, important work in this world. I love that you mentioned that this is not only about, healing people, which of course we so urgently need, it's about healing our planet, our great Mother Earth, what in Peruvian shamanism we call Pachamama. Many, many names for her throughout the world. I love Pachamama, the great earth goddess from whom we all came, to whom we will all return. And you invited me to speak to this idea of having the courage to change. And I'd like to start with a quote from Andre Gide, who's a great.
Just a minute. And Beth, it, as soon as you're ready, I can go to screen share and have you share. You tell me when you're ready to go do screen share, and we'll go through
Okay,
that.
to do those photos. All right.
Okay, cool. But tell us the quote.
Yeah, the quote from Andre Gide, and I use this quote in my work, my Vision Quest work, my transformational life passages work. He said this. He said, "You'll never discover new continents if you're unwilling to leave the old land behind." And we think about the courage that it took the people who were, in the flotilla of boats leaving the old land of Spain and England behind and not having a GPS and just a bare bones chart and going off. And I think this is a time that many of us are feeling that, we can be pushed by pain. Many of us are feeling being pushed by pain, and change comes that way. But many of us are feeling pulled by a vision. And this story that I'm going to share with you I was very much pulled by a vision while I was in the midst of a life-threatening situation. So as you listen to this story, I invite you to just, tap into perhaps a time in your own life when there was this opportunity in front of you, a door flew open. What did you choose to do with that? Another way of saying this is if you want real change, burn the boats. That's, the naval commanders, they know that. When the boats land, they really want their men and women to be strong and to go about their business of, taking over an island. And so to burn the boats, there's no going back. And we have moments like this in our own lives where there is no going back. And I had such a moment. I was living in Southern Oregon. Had a
I'm gonna
really
go. I'm gonna go to the
the
picture.
picture, yeah.
Okay.
So let's go to the next one. We'll come back to this one. The next one, I was living in Southern Oregon and I was teaching in this incredible community college called Rogue Community College. And I'm an English professor, writing professor, and you see Sky Bear, my golden retriever. He was a therapy dog at this point. I can tell because he's got his red Therapy Dogs of America bandana on. And what you don't see is my class over here, a classroom of about 30 students, many of whom were studying to become firefighters. And I think of them every day. They're out on the lines for us right now. Those guys and that one gal. So I'm teaching. I love my work. I've got incredible colleagues, but I'm from California. But I've been here for 9 years now and living in a very nice condominium with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and under kind of rent control. Very inexpensive rent. Great community of poets who love and support me, and we're publishing chapbooks together, and we write together once a month on Sundays and critique our work, and just incredible students. And I also am building my business as a life coach. I've got a lot of great clients, but I'm very much a college professor. I had been for over 30 years, very dedicated to bringing my skills. I'm also a shamanic practitioner. I'm also a vision quest guide. But I walk into the classroom as more than a writing instructor. I walk in with, a huge medicine bag full of skills that the students get the benefit of, like meditation. So there is a huge fire. I'm at home at night. The car is packed to evacuate. This is in Ashland, Oregon, if you know the map of Oregon at all. And the house has got smoke in it, even though the windows are closed. It's a wildfire started by flash lightning. And up above me is the Pacific Crest Trail, that famous hiking trail. That movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon. That movie was filmed up there. Incredible wilderness. It's on fire. It's all tinder dry. And to the east of me, people are being evacuated now. So I'm at home. I've got my car keys in my hand. And I'm thinking, and the Sky Bear is whining back and forth. I mean, should we just jump in the car and go? I'm getting text messages. People are evacuating. Not us yet. Or should we stay? I'm in the foothills of the Siskiyou Mountains, so lots of trees, tinder dry. And somehow this idea comes to me to just sit down. So I sit down, car keys in hand, and I remember one of the primal skills that we want to have in life, which is to breathe. And even though it's a little bit smoky, I just start to take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and letting go of the stress out through my mouth, and this cool stillness comes over me. And I can hear this voice, very calming voice inside of me, saying, this moment is not about fleeing or staying. This moment is about your greater life. and you haven't been looking at the greater life that's really calling to you, really pulling on you. And I continued to listen, and I began to get what this voice was talking about. I had had the sense there was so much more for me than college teaching. There was so much more than coaching. There was just so much more than all of the work I was doing. But I had been pushing that aside. Do you know what I'm talking about, my friends? Where you got, it's like it's here, or it's like this, or it's whispers here. But, life is so going. You just can push it aside. Well, in this moment, it was crystal. You have a decision to make, this voice said. It's time to move back to California. It's time to move back home to the Monterey Bay, Central Coast, California. Your larger life is waiting for you. And I relaxed in my entire body in that moment. Sky Bear lay down, he quit whining, and I put my car keys down. And then I got a text from the city of Ashland saying the fire had shifted. There was no need for our part of Ashland and the Siskiyous to evacuate. And in that moment, with the fires blazing all around, I made a decision. I decided I'm going to trust this voice. I know this is my higher self. This is my helping spirit speaking to me. This is intuition, many names for it, the still small voice. I do want to move back home. I want to move back to family and friends who I left behind 10 years ago. And I don't know how. But in that moment, a new vision arose in me and was really very clear. So let's see what the next slide is, Judy.
Oh, or we
Yeah.
can go back up to the video. This or that.
Okay, so let's just stay here.
Okay.
So this is moving day. It took 9 months of driving down, 9 hours down to the Monterey Bay to look for properties. I decided I would rent, not buy. And finally, a wonderful woman said, "You feel to me like you'd be an asset to the Pacific Grove community. I want to offer this rental to you." Oh, thank you. So this is moving day from our beautiful condo in Ashland. And of course, you can imagine Sky Bear was very upset. All the furniture is gone. His bed is now gone. And the movers were very sensitive guys. They brought in this special clean moving blanket and put it on the floor where his bed had been. He couldn't even lie down. He's just like, okay, this is my spot. What's going on? Let's go to the next slide. We moved, and here he is on the deck of his new home in Pacific Grove, California. This is his favorite spot. He can look all around him. He can look in and see what I'm doing. And he's so at home here. Let's see the next slide. This is what's called Asilomar, which is a beautiful, beautiful beach, which is about 7 blocks from where we live. Edward Weston made this area famous with his sepia-colored photographs. It's just, goes on forever. It's so beautiful, and these amazing sandstone and granite rocks. So part of what was pulling me was yes, it was the waves. Let's do the next slide. It was the salt in the air. It's the quality of light that we have here in the Monterey Bay. You just look at the light on these trees here. I mean, it's its own kind of being, really, in terms of the spirits of nature that I work with. And this rainbow, after a beautiful rain. So powerful here. So let's see the next slide. So here we are at home. And, on our deck, and you can see he's completely happy. I'm completely happy. And what I got to, I think you can probably stop the slides. I believe that was the last one we put in.
Oh, wow, one more. How's that?
Oh, one more. Okay. This is the house on moving day. Just chaos. And my best friend, Kat Marlowe, um, who is, for Sky Bear, main tribe, main pack. One of the reasons, that I chose to move back home. She's an incredible hypnotherapist and shamanic healer. She lives in the Santa Cruz area. And here he is, I mean, just like in her lap, not letting her go. So, returning home to family was very, very important. But here in this living room, what I got to, what was pulling me, I ended up having major surgery at Stanford University Hospital. I had to have a full hip replacement. All these years of wilderness work, right, really had taken a toll on me. And while I was sedated, while I was under, as they call it, I was somewhere else for, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours, however long that surgery was. And when I came back, I could feel that I had shifted.
Yeah.
I had gotten in touch with a source. I had been very far away from my life as I had known it, and I came back from this void in touch more than ever with what was that greater life that was calling to me. And I came home, and one of my friends was here with me, helping me recover. And I said, let's just play around, with the idea of let's take the vision quest from out of the wilderness. A lot of people do not want to carry a 70-pound backpack, and they don't have 2 weeks to go away. Let's bring the vision quest home to people where the spirits of nature are very strong, where people live. The helping spirits are everywhere. What would that be like if we adopt the teachings to, we're mostly urban beings now. And so we started to play around. She did. I was in no shape to open a computer. And I said, let's look up Australian Aboriginal song lines. This is an oral tradition that Aboriginal people know to sing that guides them from one ceremonial place to the next water hole to the next, outback where people are. Then that's where we started. And what that has led to, Judy, is I have created Vision Quest online.
There you go.
And I'm now in the process of organizing the next one, which will be the sixth one. It's been highly successful. And the first one started the week before COVID hit. And that was amazing. That first group of Vision Questers, working on their life purpose, working on building their power in their life, working on identifying the blocks, the obstacles, the old beliefs and the old habits that had been keeping the brakes on in their life and busting through those. That particular group, they said to me every week, thank God we're doing this. I don't know how I would get through this time if we weren't, it was like 11 people gathered online, if we weren't doing this together. And it was amazing. Every week I have a new PowerPoint, and every week there was a new animal in the world that had come down into town. And we could add that to the PowerPoint. The wild goats in Wales were in town now, eating the rose bushes. The jackals in Tel Aviv were in the parks. The lions in South Africa had come out of the wilderness and were lying in the middle of the freeways. It was just astonishing. The leatherback turtles in Thailand were now able to hatch without tourists interfering, without the vibration. So the mothers could come up and lay their eggs for the first time. Some of those mothers, the first time to lay eggs, because there was no vibration on the sand of the tourists. It's just astonishing things were happening every week. And so the work has grown. They wanted the next course. So I created Shaman's Visionary Pathways, which takes a person deeper into the vision, really coming to the place of beginning to manifest the vision. And then they wanted the next course. It was just like such a godsend. This particular group of, we got down to 10 people. They wanted the next course, and it was the Heart of the Shaman. And then they wanted the next course, which was Shaman, Healer, Seer. So, leaving Oregon,
Right.
having the courage to leave a, a wonderful community of colleagues and poets and
No, I just,
rich.
I just, what keeps going on in my mind is adapt and adopt. You know,
Hmm.
okay, let's adapt, and then it's adopt where we are and see. And I just, it just keeps, and then the people that are supposed to be where you're adopting your new place come.
Hmm.
And I love the fact that it was like, whoop, okay, online.
Online. Yeah.
And I mean, confusion. How do we do this? Blah 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 blah. Adopt, whoop, adopt, adapt, adopt. And
Hmm.
you know what else I love about it, Beth?
What, Judy?
Skybarrier's been on the journey with you.
Yes.
And if you look at that first picture, and I do know that when you were up with the fires, he had major surgery,
Yes, he had just
and
had
he had to
major surgery.
adapt and adopt to his new space there.
Yeah.
And he absolutely looks healthier than I've ever seen him, as well as you do too. So,
I'm happy. I'm
yeah,
living my soul's purpose. It's so incredible. I have this year-long platinum course now. You can study shamanism. Boom, boom, boom. Start with a vision quest. Go to Shaman's Visionary Pathways. Spend a year working on your soul's purpose,
mhm.
shifting the paradigms, bringing the power in, walking the path of power. It's extraordinary.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it starts with what your quote that you started out this whole thing with, right?
You'll never discover new continents if you're unwilling to leave the old land behind.
Wow.
I left RCC, Road Community College, behind, much to the dean's regret. He did not want to let me go. I said, I know, but I gotta go. Because I understand. If I could leave, I might leave and go back to California too. But yeah.
So what I would like to do is, this is great to put a bow on this, and it's like just a moment in time that you and I took on a Saturday to like, okay. What we like to do, what we love to do, is to put a blessing on you, Beth Beurkens, for taking the
Mhm.
time to give of yourself to us. And what is it that you would love for you, Sky Bear, in your work in the world? What would you love to have us hold for you? Hmm.
Thank you.
Anything in the world, anything, smorgasbord, it's all yours. It's a buffet.
You've always been an incredible mastermind partner with me. You actually were in a mastermind group with me that helped me stay the course of getting to California, even though the rent was 3 times greater and it was going to be such an incredible upheaval. So, thank you for asking me. Hmm. Yeah, what I would love to have you hold for me, all of you, and if I can help any of you in any way, contact me. That goes without saying, right? That's always standing love coming out to you. Is that I continue the work that I'm doing, continue to be an ever greater, more effective, more unconditionally loving, capable shamanic teacher, vision quest guide, but that I also continue to grow and expand beyond this. I can sense there is something else. I don't have any idea what that is. Um, but yeah, if you can hold that for me, I continue to do what I'm doing in power and beauty and love and care, and that I also continue to be open to that deep voice, that intuitive insight, from the helping spirits. If there's some greater way that I can help, I want to know what that is and have the power to do that.
Okay, well, guess what? You've got it now. Okay, everybody. Now, no, you're not. You get to receive.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. I'm receiving it. Thank you.
Open those arms wide.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
receiving
we're
it.
getting the energy going. Okay, ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah,
Here
I'm
you
ready.
go. Whoosh.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so
you,
it
Judy.
is.
And so it is.
And so it
Done and done.
is. Done, done. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And what a beautiful, beautiful journey you've led us on and continue to lead the entire world. So
Mm.
grateful for you, Beth.
Thank you, Judy. I'm so grateful to you. And just, watching you expand and unfold your wings and fly like an eagle, it's just been so awesome. So awesome.
I love it.